And then now for the first hour, I have a story that I never even knew existed. Okay, I did not know that since it's like 04 or something, 03. There was a Karen Huds. She's going to help me out with the pronunciation of her name, but I'm telling you this: it's Karen Hudes. She was an attorney for the World Bank, and then came out and said, what you be doing is bad. Let me go ahead and explain to everybody how bad it is. And all of a sudden, it starts, hitting a little bit. It's a slow burn out there, but it just wasn't making the news. I'm like, why? How is it I did not know this story? Before I get into a long introduction for it, let's go ahead and just go right to it. I don't want to miss any more of this. Karen, I got you there?
You sure do.
Okay.
Glad to be on your show.
Karen, I don't know if you know who we are, but I tell you, we got kind of a bad video there. Like it's fun. Are you in hiding?
No, I'm not in hiding. I'm using my new PC because, or laptop. My PC was attacked by viruses and is in the shop. So
of course it was. Of course it was. I heard a little bit of your story, and this was, we'll go ahead and put up some slides up here. Now, let me ask you right off the bat. One, we're going to find out from your perspective, what is the World Bank, how it's tied to the IMF, how is it you became a counselor for it, and what were you whistleblowing against? So go ahead and go.
Okay, the IMF and World Bank were created. They were right across the street from each other. They're sister organizations. They're called the Bretton Woods organizations for the name of the ski resort in New Hampshire where they were created. And they were created in order to prevent war. That's their number one thing. The first thing they started doing was rehabilitating Europe after World War II. And it's a co-op. It was created by 44 countries when it was first started, but it's now up to 188. So it is a place where countries go to talk about problems rather than have wars. Now, it got hijacked by a corrupt group, and it's been doing some bad things because of the group that corrupted it.
Okay,
but
now
underneath it all,
let's go ahead and let's go ahead and kind of walk this through. We got time. That's why I wanted 2 hours. I just knew this was going to go. We need an education. Okay. Now, when they created, it's World War II. The Europe is in shambles and so on, and they got him. We're going, never again. We're gonna, and we got to have all these collectives that were killing everybody in the name of the people and with the resources of and the tanks and the wars and everything. I tell you what, so we don't have that collective to worry about anymore. We're going to have this big giant collective. So they
yes and no. When you say big giant collective, it is not one world government. It's not, let's take over all the governments of the world. It's just the opposite.
That was the plan.
No. That was some people who thought they could hijack the place. But don't forget, 44 countries signed a treaty, and the treaty is very clear what it's supposed to do. So when that group started hijacking the World Bank, there's a group of whistleblowers. I'm not acting as an individual. There's a group of us from all the countries of the world, and we are taking that place back. And when I say we're taking it back, all I mean is that we are cleaning out the corruption so that place can be a forum for discussing. But it's not like a country's giving up its rights. It's not that the citizens are giving up their rights. We're not talking about one government. There may be some crazy people who thought they could get away with that, but that's not the plan.
That's not where I was going, but yeah, that probably will happen. But that's not where I was going. My point is that whenever you have, it's called Steiger's Law. We use it on the show here a lot. It goes like this. Whenever you create a group or organization, sooner or later, the group or organization becomes more important than the reason you created it. Every single time. And the thing that I'm looking at, and I look at the World Bank and the IMF and so on, no matter what the promise was, no matter what the Bill of Rights or the Constitution or whatever document they have, how's that working out for us? I know what the promise was for America too. So what happens is we go, okay, when you give a shiny badge or an authority or a resources or a big giant, ooh, we wish we had that power, the bad guys always gravitate towards it. And why I wanted to talk to you is that, certainly you have a belief in the mechanism by which, hey, this can be a tool for good, and they're doing bad with it. And my perspective is, of course, they're going to do bad with it because they can. I want to know how they can. So once they created this in order for people to come together and they say, all right, we got these problems, which, of course, when they're going to World Bank, it's probably financial. And they go there and they say, hey, what can we do to help these guys here? Because, I don't know, we want to help them the way we want to help, and don't mind if we get a cut. And I'm going, okay, so who and or what was taking it over, why, and who is it that's resisting that from the inside, such as yourself?
Okay. Let me just step back a half a step and say, what is it that we're talking about that these institutions are supposed to do and what happens when they get hijacked?
Thank you.
We're talking about currency. We're talking about when one country is buying goods from another and they're going to pay them with something. Is it going to be barter? Is it going to be dollars that have no gold behind it? How are we going to handle those payments? We're talking about international finance. So it's a necessary intersection. You can't get away from that. It's not that, let's abolish the World Bank, let's abolish the IMF. Somewhere, somehow, people have got to agree on how they're going to be paying each other when they trade. Because nobody wants to go back to a system where every single country is just self-sufficient. Nobody's talking about that. Okay, so now let me answer your questions. Who is it that's hijacked the World Bank? I didn't know this at the time, or I probably would not have started what I did. Who's hijacking it? It's a group of primarily bankers. They're the ones that own the central banks.
Okay, we're going into break, and keep it right there. I know just right when you get going, but we got a good start. We got you amped up a little bit. We're all ready to talk about it, and we'll talk in the break here a little bit. So I tell you, are you guys on the edge of your seat yet? You get it? This is going to be fun, huh? We're going to learn something. We will be right back here on Declare Your Independence in just a little bit. Okay, Karen, I was really excited to talk to you because, damn. How is it that I did not know this? Why is this not, front page stuff?
It's called state capture. It's called all of the mainstream media has been bought by this group.
Now, you know why? I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because they can.
Not only because they can, but because the only way they could get away with what they were doing.
So that's why they did it.
In secret.
See, this is the thing I know, and I don't want to hammer on it on air, because I want to get your story. But I just want to make it sure, we're hardcore narco-capitalist libertarian types that'd be better off without any kind of central authority. It'll, well, how would you do this? And I don't know, but it wouldn't have coercion, and it wouldn't have a gun at my head, and it wouldn't have armies, and it wouldn't have, interest rates destroying developing countries going in. Wouldn't do that. Okay, it wouldn't. So how they would do it, I don't know. That's up to y'all. Peace out. And as far as I'm concerned, the world is just individuals doing whatever the heck they want, and I don't give a crap what the government does. I want to, sell on eBay something to ship it in FedEx to a guy in Bolivia, and, so what? So the whole thing that you're talking about, this global financing thing, you're just not going to get me to be a fan. That ain't going to happen. But that doesn't mean we can't learn what's going on. So, the philosophical thing, you start about how we need the World Bank, this, my audience is sitting on the edge of the seat. Get her, man, go get her. Well, I don't want to spend time on that. So,
all right, let me explain what it is, who's helping me. And then maybe your people aren't going to want to go get me. Maybe they're going to want to try to help the people that are helping me.
No, they don't mean get you. Me? They mean, the philosophy of, arguing that this collective thing. But, go ahead. Who's helping?
No, you know who's helping me? You know who's helping me?
No.
The governors, the attorneys general, the chief justices of the state Supreme Court.
Well,
that's for starters.
Well, I'm not big fans of them anyway. So we're totally different. Well, I tell you who I am. Let me tell you.
Government that's got their hand in your pocket, somebody's got to get those feds out of your pocket. And who's it going to be? Is it going to be you, individual citizens and militias? No. it's going to be somebody, and that's who it is.
Okay. Well,
that's what we're doing.
Let me go ahead and tell you who I am. You'll kind of understand the perspective. The Ron Paul Lovolution, that whole Ron Paul thing for the past 6-7 years, the logo, the Lovolution logo, Ron Paul Lovolution, I'm the one that created that. So the whole Ron Paul Lovolution thing started here in Phoenix with Freedom's Phoenix, and a lot of us activists went. So I've been traveling the country, this whole generation next, all these young people, and they bring in their parents and grandparents, and they have a fundamental, that's why they're screaming in the Fed and everything, not because of, they didn't do it right, or they break their promises and they're not, going to represent their future. It's because they understand philosophically the problem with central banking. I mean, I didn't even have to explain it to them. I mean, they're like, no, we get it. That's why we're doing these wars. It's why we have all these problems. It's why, okay, peace out. Thanks for getting it, and then it just went from there. So that's where we come from. That's you're talking to the Ron Paul kids. This is who you're talking to right now. So
okay, let me tell you who you're talking to so you understand that.
No. Tell the audience.
Okay, I'm just straight law, just law.
No, we know they don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, we know they just don't care. They're like, yeah, we'll change and get and confiscate and put in and take over, and so that's what they always do. And it's not like they're going, we wouldn't do this thing. That would be bad, as they're killing, maiming, and strafing, So it's, all right, here we go.
Creative Commons.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
No roads! I got the cover of this month's magazine, the new Terrafuega flying car. Oh, it's starting to get I mean, they already have one that had FAA approval, and now they got a new one that's going to, have a jet turbine kind of doing in my driveway thing. Ooh, no ROADs. Okay. Now let's get right back to Karen. Now, Karen, help me out here. Off the break, kind of, give you understanding this philosophical whatever. I want to get past that. It's that they created an entity. It has rules, laws. People participated, different countries, and they're saying, okay, thou shalt not do this, 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 and this, and your mission is this, and do that, and be nice about it. And they went, no. And the people that taken it over at the same time took over the media. Why? Because they can. They needed to. That's how they've been keeping you quiet. Now, they, them, those, the ones that just won't leave us alone, or those that just want to be left alone, those that just won't leave them alone, it's no more complicated than that. Now, on your side, you're having governors and attorney generals and people saying, hey, man, we need somebody, what she said, this is affecting us. We're having problems. We need to fix it. Fix what? Who took over what? Why? Go.
Okay, let me tell you where I'm headed so that we're all very clear. I'm headed to transparency. I'm headed so that people who are paying taxes or voting know who they're paying taxes to, where the taxes are going, and what the people who they're voting for have actually done behind the closed doors. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to do anything more. I'm not trying to take over the world. I'm simply trying to do that because that is absolutely essential. The other thing I would want to do is I would want to try to educate people so they would know what their Secretary of the Treasury is doing when he closes the door and goes into those secret meetings.
Whatever Goldman Sachs tells them to. I'd like them to understand
where it's at right now. Those are the two things I want. I don't want anything more than that because I figure once people know those two things, they can take their time and figure out what would make sense. And they can get that.
Good place to start.
They can organize themselves and they can get that. That's all I want. I don't want anything more than that. I don't have my own agenda is what I was trying to say. Now, I'll tell you how I got involved in this, what my training is, what my background is,
Please.
How it all happened, and then you'll understand what the story is.